is intended for mature audiences and contains adult content, graphic language, graphic violence, nudity, and strong sexual content. Viewer discretion is advised. Like, we'll leave it up to you, but you gotta know about this stuff before getting into this whole thing, you know? I mean, straight up, one guy gets his face bitten off by a raccoon, and we show it. Oh man, do we show it. Real big close-up. And we spoke to a scientist to make sure it was, you know, physically correct and whatever. We said, hey, scientist guy, like, how much damage could a raccoon realistically do? And he told us a lot.
He's Cool.
And he's Kegs. Brother, who do we got on tonight?
Tonight we have someone who I met in my USN days, who is a very, very chill dude. Much respect to him. He's just an upstanding dude. We have Mr. Rifle with us tonight. Mr. Rifle, how are you doing today, sir?
Doing great. Thanks for the invite, guys.
No, man, it's...
Oh, you betcha, man. We were so stoked when you said you would talk to us, because, like, I mean, you're just a guy, you know what I mean? You're always the coolest newcomer in the room, you know, cutting up, having a great time. I mean, I remember when you came on board, dude, it was just honestly, I had no idea how you were putting up the point of humor at the time before the boost and shit.
I was trying to keep up with me most of the time.
Yeah.
I was trying to learn to fly and to catch up, and then it was just like everyone racing for 100K every single war before the boosters.
You know, funny.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm trying to get. I have
no idea how they did it.
He wants to come on right now. He's to be announced as well, so we're gonna have Mio on at some point. Hey, but let me ask you this.
Well, we'll have to ask him.
Yeah, he's already signed up. We just got to get him a date. But speaking of, who are you inside the game? Like, who have you flown for? And, you know, let's go that route.
Great.
So I'm Rifle. I've been, God, when did I join? Kegs, you know, because I was in the game for about 2 weeks, so it's been, like a year and 2 months.
That sounds approximately correct, yeah, because I was about 6 months old when you came in.
Yeah, and Newfie got me and brought me in, and pretty much just learn to fly with you guys, and just try and keep up with points learning how to fly. And then, I guess it just took a life of its own, and then we got up there in the rankings. We were top 10, then top 5, got to 2. Then it was just all this stuff with, like, IA wars back and forth. And, I don't know, it was never, like, craziness. It was just more, like, something to do, like, a goal in mind that we were just trying to do, and it was fun. And then after a while, I think it was in December, we decided we're putting in way too much time away from our families, away from our jobs. And so we disbanded USN. We just created a small USN, just for shits and giggles. And I took my second account and made it there, so I'm still vice commander there. And then I went to fly for F-35, won LAA, and then they got me to stay over in LAA, made me an advisor, so now I'm advisor in LAA and a vice commander in US10, so.
Alright, well shout out to both of those, yeah.
Yeah, it's non-stop, but it's fun. It's something to do, and then LA got me addicted to Call of Duty Mobile, and now I'm doing that too, so.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Add it to the bank account.
Rabbit hole for that one.
Well,
I know one was happy. We were super ecstatic to have you hang out with us for a while.
Oh,
It was awesome. Like, you were for the guys, you know.
Swain wanted me to stay there and was like, you can just merch for us constantly. I'm like, I mean, I can, but then I'm like, like when we disbanded USN, it was like, I just wanted to merc and have fun, and then it was like, God, every time in the KSA called that one time where we had that crazy war, it was like, what, 10 million, 9 million? It was just insane. I was like, man, I'm spending way too much money in this game. I'm happy with just the 20,000, 30,000, and just working off of diamonds that we win every week.
Well, speaking of that,
Yeah.
since we're at that we're talking about that crux, are you comfortable talking about roughly how much you've spent total?
Probably for both of my accounts, probably around like 2,000.
Okay, that's not that bad. Okay.
No, that's
it.
for shit.
Yeah, that's
I
probably...
only do like 4 times deals or maybe 3 times deals, but I only did like the $100 deal maybe twice when those things come up, and then I did do the ultimate diamond deal to get the tier 7, but that was about it.
Yeah, that's not
And
bad.
you're making me feel bad because I've spent a lot more than that.
Well, I'm about close to you. I've spent more than you, but I have a lot less. We'll put it that way. You're a lot smarter.
Deals, man. That's the only way to hide it from the wife.
That's the thing. Separate card, right? I've heard that more than once.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess beyond that, beyond the game, I mean, would you want to explain a little bit who you are as a person, within reason?
Yeah. So I'm from Chicago, born and raised, not the suburbs, inner city. Grew up in an all Hispanic neighborhood. Being the only little white boy in the grammar school. Went to a big high school though. When I was 18, I met my first wife. When I was 19, I had my first kid. And so by the time I was 21, I had 2 kids, and I needed a real job. And so I ended up applying for the County Sheriff's Department. And so since I was 21, I've been with the Sheriff's Department.
Thank you.
So right now I got 16 years in.
By the way.
Oh yeah, of course. Really, it was for insurance. That's how I did it. And then I had my 3rd kid, and then from at the jail is where everyone starts in the Sheriff's Department. And so did Supermax for a while, moved on to receiving.
Well, what's first of all, can you, and Kegs, after this, what's the difference between being like, say a street cop versus, can you explain what that's like first before you explain what it's like to be, or vice versa, whichever one came first? Can you explain the difference of the two?
You want me to?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've never been with a police department, so it's in the sheriff's. You have to start out the jail. Then you earn your time or whatever, and you could either apply to do courts, to do like being a bailiff or work in their lockup, or you could apply to be in sheriff's police, which is kind of funny to say, sheriff's police, but it's more like right now sheriff's police backs up CPD downtown, west side, south side, and then they do the unincorporated areas in Cook County that's around Chicago that don't have their own police department. For one thing, like, we're peace officers, we're not police officers.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever someone asks me if I'm a cop, no, I've never said to anybody I'm a cop. I've always said I'm just in law enforcement or with the sheriff's department.
So, real quick though, while you're making that distinction, as a peace officer in the law enforcement aspect, are you deputized or no?
Yes. Yeah, with the state of Illinois.
Okay.
Well,
Okay,
and
excellent. I mean, that's a big win, dude. Like getting that, because I was corrections for almost 2.5 years up here in Michigan, and we cannot get deputized.
Yeah, that's...
Unless we do like search and rescue additions, or some kind of post in addition to our duties as an actual corrections officer.
But you're
Yes.
Yes, I think it's different because with the sheriff's department, like, we're by law, we have to be deputized.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Well, let me ask you this, like, beyond the qualifications part, because this, as soon as you told me where you were from and what you do, and knowing Chicago, especially right now, I guess, can you talk a little bit about what it's like trying to be law enforcement in any way right now in Chicago? I'm just curious.
It's horrible. It's bad. We're the enemies for everybody. Yeah, it's funny because, like, when we have, like, all those riots and stuff, and we always get hits out put on us, and our cars get shot and stuff, it's just like, it is what it is. Defund the police. Okay, I mean, it's just bad. But
no, you're
very stressful.
You're anonymous here, so you can let go when it comes to that. I think, you know.
Well, it's just funny because, like, right now, for instance, with all this question about police funds, like, we just got a contract passed with the county, and we're going to get 13.5% raise. So it's like the opposite's happening because of all the defund the police and everything against the police. Nobody's applying, and so we're having people retire left and right. Our attrition's horrible. So before, people were staying on just for, like, overtime and insurance, but a lot of people are, well, if you got your 30 in and you have enough to retire, like, for me, for instance, I got hurt when I was 21, so when I'm 51, I could retire with my full pension, you know. So, like, what's to keep me from, like, leaving? So right now, to keep us, they're pretty much paying us whatever we want. It's kind of crazy.
And so you guys have a pension. I mean, because I at the state level here, I didn't have a pension.
Damn.
Well, I guess.
And they took that away. I think it was 3 years before I started. And when I started, and I keep what's so, like, I talked to some of the guys that still work there and whatnot. They're like, dude, do you believe what they're paying these guys for a start, you know? And I'm like, no, dude, I haven't paid no attention to that. They're like, dude, is they're getting paid what we were getting after, like, our first or second raise. Because when I started as a corrections officer in the state of Michigan, it was $17.67 to start. And you got paid from day one, like in the academy and the whole 9 yards. So I mean, it wasn't too bad. And then once you went green tag, after you were you went red tag, green tag, black tag. So red tag, you have to be escorted everywhere. You have to stay with us, and then officer, training officer of the day or whatever. Green tag, you're a probationary. You can walk around on your own, do your own thing to a degree. And then after a 60 or 90 day probationary period, you got your black tag, which was your quote-unquote full scale, or not full scale, but full-fledged, you know, officer or whatever. And then, I want to say those after, they're starting at like 20, say what I said was 2058 or something like that. It took me I think it took me to like my second raid to get to 22. And we were supposed to top out around like 30, 32 an hour range. So, but yeah, it's fun what they're doing now.
Well, to make it even worse, like, for pension, anyone that was hired after 2011, for us, have to work till they're about 64 and have to do 42 years of service to get what I'm going to do in 30. So it's a lot tougher now. But when you have, like, the tier system, like Tier 1 and Tier 2, it gets insane when people, like, we have people, like, I've never went for a promotion, but, like, I get paid more than my sergeants do. Because I'm a Tier 1 and I have so much time on the job. Like, it's crazy. But, I mean, it is what it is.
And then your sergeants only been there 6 months and he's trying to tell you what to do, and you're like, you're bugging it up, but okay.
No, but see, that's the thing. Like, I always tell people, like, when you you go for a promotion, do it within your first 5 years. Like, go for that promotion so you're trained as a sergeant. Because once you got, 12, 13, 14, 15 years, you're pretty much set in your ways. Like, it's hard to train you anymore. So, like, especially, like, people that came out of academy, when I came out of academy, just got promoted right now, and I'm like, why? You have to start from the bottom? Like, I get to go wherever I want to work with my time on the job,
Exactly.
And
I feel that.
Yes, no, I'm good.
Well, let me ask you something like that really I don't think we've even got close to touching on. I mean, I understand the financial aspect, take care of your family, but are you scared for your life ever? Like, seriously, have you really sat down and thought about, how healthy it is for you, not only mentally, just, I mean, what is that like, especially where you're at?
Alright, so we could go to that direction. So when I was in jail, about 3 years in, I went to work at Cermak Hospital. So it's a hospital, full hospital, inside the compound of Cook County Jail. And I got real, comfortable working a psych unit, and then I went for being psych trained, then crisis intervention training, and then I became one of the regular officers. And now, this does not look like a jail. We don't really have what you picture in your mind of what jails look like. Maybe Kegs knows, but it looked more on an acute psych unit, like an ICU unit, where there's group rooms and single cells.
Sure.
But the doctors are working hand in hand with you. You have nursing on staff at all times, mental health on hand at all times, 24 hours a day. And so I got really into that, and we got real comfortable. We became a family. The doctors, the nurses, me and my partners. There's 4 officers that work at all times, so my shift, I was on day shift, and we did everything together. We went on vacations together, everything. And when you're on that unit, you don't think twice, and it became to an extent where, I don't know how to put it, so you have use of forces when you go hands-on, and you have to write a report, let's say you're exchanging blows or something. Well, on psych units, you're constantly doing emergency medication, so you're taking people down, but it's not technically a report. It's medical assisting. So you kind of lose that fear of going into a cell pretty fast when you're doing it 2 or 3 times a day. And it became normal to the point where I didn't feel normal in regular life without having that little drop of adrenaline of going into a cell extraction or something. And so most law enforcement, when they have something like that, we all hold it in, and it's a weird situation when that makes you feel normal, and to this day, when I'm going to an incident, I feel more calm than when I'm not, when it's just regular life or I'm standing around people. And so, with that, I was doing acute psych for 8 years, and I had multiple concussions. It was just concussion after concussion, because you gotta remember, on acute psych units, it's people from the streets that are either on drugs or they are self-medicating. So, it's not their fault when they attack you.
So you're talking about withdrawals and schizophrenic stuff like that?
Yeah, not withdrawals. Withdrawals is totally different. That's more like shaking, leave me alone. But like schizo, but bipolar, a lot of the things, when they're self-medicating with drugs and alcohol, and they have to come off of it, and there's no talking sense to someone where you have to take them down, and you need to make sure you don't hurt them, because when they're on their medication, it's night and day. And in this city, there's no real support for mental health. So when they get released from the jail, you have to take 3 buses to one hospital, and that's Georgia Hospital, to pick up your prescription. And if you live on any part of the city that's far, you're not getting your medication. So what do? You have to self-medicate. And that's just normal. And so it's a rotating door. We know all of these guys, by first name basis. They know all of us. Once they become situated on their medication, they become the nicest people in the world. So when they're going through that, you gotta make sure you don't hurt them. So you take the hits to make sure that they're safe, because
what a
technically
clusterfuck,
you're
buddy.
protecting them.
What a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
What a clusterfuck.
I mean, it is. That's the city. So, like, when people, that's what bothers me about the city most of all is mental health. Like, if they want to put anything into anything, find a way to get these guys medication. Like, fucking deliver medication. It'd be fine. But anyway, so I have had.
More on that subject, real quick, if you don't mind me interjecting a quick observation question, I guess.
Okay.
Did you guys have sufficient mental health support from your side?
So yeah, that's probably where I'm heading. So no one really looks after us, you know. So it becomes normal for us to mask our own problems.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's drinking, or pills or something. So I was having problems, and this was with my first wife. I was having issues. I couldn't, I was dependent on just numbing out everything when I was at home. I couldn't deal with anything.
Drops in the other room, and it just sets you off into a fucking,
It's anything, and it's something small, like even to this day, crowds. I can't deal with crowds. I can't deal with people.
No.
And so
I'm right there with you, dude. I feel that.
Yeah, it's an issue. And so I got divorced, and I ended up spiraling down, suicidal. There's no way out. And people at my job that I didn't realize were in peer support in AA, and they came to my house and literally wrestled me into treatment.
Good.
And there's one individual that, while I was in treatment, would drive me to AA meetings every day for doing my 90 and 90 and stuff. So, but through that, got a bunch of scans, those electrode scans, and found out I had a traumatic brain injury, and I had a dead spot in my brain. So I was it's just
CTE.
it was weird.
Are we
finding
talking
all
about
this stuff.
CTE?
What?
Are we talking about CTE?
Yeah, I mean, I got pictures, but I don't know what they're called. I just remember seeing the pictures, and they're like, well,
Did it look black in the scans, basically? There was just a big black spot? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a black spot, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and can I make a quick observation, too? I find it sad and tragic that the same thing that you're trying to help people with, you were going through at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a very poignant issue. And you, like you said, you didn't have support for the entire city, not just you.
No, the one guy that helped me out, he was just an individual. There's nothing really, we have peer support, but if you looked at that, you'd probably laugh.
It's a severely lagging area.
Yeah, it's kind of
I wouldn't laugh, though. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I was done. I was checked out. My family was probably better off without me, kind of thing in my head. So once I went through treatment, found out I had PTSD, severe depression, acute anxiety disorder, everything. They got me straight on medication. No benzos. I just listened to one of you guys' shows, someone mentioned Klonopin or something. So no benzos. I've been sober since I think it's 2016.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah. I was going to say, that's a big fucking deal.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. It's huge. And
I'm just happy to hear that at least your coworkers were willing to step up and be there for you when you needed them, because you don't have that kind of stuff up here at the state level. If anything, they just beat you out farther. It's a very dog-eat-dog world when you work for the state in the corrections area in Michigan. It's not pretty.
Well, with my background, if a lieutenant or someone sees that there's an issue with somebody, that's what we suspect, they'll intentionally make me work with them, so I could try to get, and maybe seek help last week I tried to get a guy, because we do have free through our job, but no one knows about it. We have therapy.
Good.
You can find help.
Good.
So I did that last week because somebody was having a crisis. So, but yeah, that was interesting. So when I went back to the acute psych, it was totally different. I was more involved with making sure that these guys were taken care of, the inmates, because there's people and they going through the same thing. And I think when they know that you've been through some shit yourself, that there's this mutual understanding.
I know. Yeah.
And on that note, with one of those doctors, I ended up going on vacation to Ohio, and that's how I met my wife currently. So it's just weird how everything falls together.
Let me ask you. Let's do that. So you met your wife in Ohio. Can elaborate a little bit more? What happened after you met her? Could you elaborate a little bit more how that's worked out?
Yeah, I went to. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Put in Bay, but anyone that knows Put in Bay, right now they're just nodding because it's a shit show. And I went with a bunch of doctors to Put in Bay because a bunch of them were from Ohio, and they're from the Akron area. And
well, what's Put in Bay? Just in case I don't know who it is.
Well, Put in Bay?
Yeah, I don't know what.
It's an island in Lake Erie that's nothing but pool bars and debauchery. It's like
Sodom and Gomorrah on an island?
It's on an island. You have to take a ferry to get to it. It's the most limited place for clothes. It's just weird. It's just a party.
It's just weird, he says.
Yeah, it's think of Vegas, but white trash Vegas.
Okay.
And that nobody will argue that point.
So my hometown bar, basically.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And so going over there with the doctor, and I was babysitting them because remember I'm sober. So I was the SOS guy. So whenever I was sharing a condo with 8 other women, it was me, another guy officer that came with us, and 8 women in this condo. And whenever they were being hit on by someone they didn't want to, they would call an SOS for us to go and save them. Now the other guy, he fucking took off and was banging whatever, but one of the girls called an SOS, and we ended up spending the night together, and I told her that night that she could come to Chicago and we could hang out, and literally from then on she was coming every other weekend, and to the point where she was coming every weekend, and we ended up getting married.
Well,
and it was
that's awesome, dude.
Congratulations.
Yeah, weird. It's a weird situation,
well,
but it was.
It's not that
nobody
weird.
goes to Put in Bay and comes back with a wife. That's all I can say.
Well, but here's the best thing about that. I'm curious. So you're struggling through all this stuff as you're trying to rebuild yourself. If your wife was to ever hear this, what would you say to her?
Oh man, she's been through a lot of shit, especially with my job. So she already knows everything.
No,
I'm saying.
I mean, how appreciative. If you were gonna tell her.
Oh, she's my world. She's kept me in check. She saved my life multiple times. I love her to death. She's the best thing that ever happened. I don't know how it happened. I don't know if I ever deserved it, but it's the greatest thing that ever happened to me besides my kids. I think she'll agree with that one. But yeah, I mean, she's the greatest thing in my life. Hopefully my kids don't.
Did the wedding go with? Well, if you don't mind me asking, because we had a corrections wedding while I was working there, and there was about, I don't know, 80 officers and from around the state, and a bunch of street cops that were buddies and everything else. How was the wedding?
Okay, so my wife comes from a well-off family. All right, and like I said, I'm from inner city Chicago, Hispanic. And it's a bunch of jail guards. So my superintendent gave everybody, even my lieutenant, off for the weekend. So we all went over there, and I told them her family's fucking crazy. They party hard. Like, we've been to concerts where I'm like, holy shit. And I told my guys, I'm like, hey, just so you know, I told everybody at this wedding, and this is a big wedding, and her dad paid for everything, huge wedding. This is in the height of COVID, this is 2020, and we told everyone, hey, no, this is a text from her dad to her dad's friends, no doing coke on the wedding tables, like no drugs at tables, because these guys, and they're like, okay, cool. So when it was the actual wedding, and a couple of my guys came up to me like, hey, they're doing fucking lines of coke in the bathroom. I'm like, that's what we told them to do it. Like, what do you want them to do it? Like, and they're like, are you fucking crazy? I'm like, no, this is how they party, man. It's gotta let it ride, man. It was a good time. And oh man, and then we had after parties and before parties, and there's like, I don't know, my guys, I guess, Ohio people drink different. Like, you think a bunch of jail guards can drink? Ohio chicks out-drink fucking everybody. Right after a ceremony, they're shotgunning like drinks and doing. It was insane. It was a wild wedding. Like, we have pictures of some officers that like blacked out in the hallways. We had cops called on us multiple times because this was at a hotel, and you have literally this whole hotel filled with guys with guns and badges, and in this out of nowhere county in the middle of Ohio. It was pretty fun. It was a good time. They couldn't do anything about it, you know. Obviously, we outmanned them, but it was a fun time.
That's
oh my god,
fucking awesome. That's so awesome. Like, I'm putting a picture together in my head right now.
I feel bad. I can picture this. I don't know how that goes, right?
Well, and I guess before we, I ask you even, anything else, let me ask you this. When that was going on around you and you're trying to stay sober, right? How hard was it really? Or was it, speaking to an ex-addict, actually, well, a current addict, never, always are, I've reached a point where my quote-unquote drug of choice, right? So I can drink and control it, but my drug of choice, right? I detest it at this point. Like, you could lay it in front of me and I would walk away. Is that where you were at that point?
Yeah, there's no chance. When I hit my rock bottom, like, that's when you have addicts and alcoholics, when people are like, hey, can you help this guy out? I'm like, no, I can't, because he hasn't hit rock bottom. Like, he doesn't know what it's like. And until you hit rock bottom, like, you don't realize, like, how bad it is. You just think, I could go a week without drinking, it's fine. But no, when I was at my point, like, I was ready to check out. Like, I was there, and it was over. And so when I'm thinking about stuff like that, now, I'm not gonna lie, like, the second I retired, I'm gonna smoke all the weed I can. And it's just, I just cannot drink. I can't do benzos. Like, that's the two things I can't do. Now, I've had some crazy stories with drugs, which I can't get tested now for. But, like, for instance, my honeymoon, we went to the Dominican Republic, and my wife stored her edibles in my one-a-days, and I didn't know. So I thought I was being drugged in the middle of the Dominican Republic, and then she's
Tell me about that.
over here like, what the fuck? Oh, okay.
So that's the honeymoon.
Yeah, so our honeymoon, okay, real quick. So Dominican Republic, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting my lounge chairs for the beach. I do my one-a-days. We have breakfast, and I'm feeling like real funny. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, we gotta go back. I gotta lay down. There's something wrong. She's like, oh my god. And so we start walking back, and someone's trying to talk to us, but I feel like he's talking backwards. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And so I'm telling her, so we're walking back. I'm like, I gotta go to the room. We gotta go to the room. And so we get to the room, and she's like, you better not fucking die on me. We're not going to a hospital in Dominican Republic, blah, blah. I'm like, and so she's like, are you having a panic attack? Because, I mean, I get panic attacks, but I know this wasn't a panic attack, but she didn't believe me. Well, she also brought shrooms.
Oh, no.
So,
Oh, Jesus.
so she thought the solution was
More shrooms.
let's give them shrooms to calm down the anxiety.
Yeah, that didn't work.
So now, like a half an hour goes by and I'm looking myself in the mirror and I'm fucking just tripping balls. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. And so I'm like, I gotta retrace my steps, right? So I go, and the first thing I do is go to my One-A-Day pills, and she's like, don't touch those. I'm like, why? She's like, because those are my edibles. I'm like, what? She's like, you son of a bitch. And so she's like, get your shoes on, we're going to the beach. Because I took I think 40 milligrams of weed. And apparently for someone that doesn't do that, it's a lot. And then edibles especially. And then I was all shroomed out. So then for the rest of the day, we were just at the beach, and I was just staring at the waves.
I was going to say
It was
waves.
a great fucking time. Yeah, it was a great time. I got some pictures. I'll send it to you guys.
Absolutely. I love it.
It was, oh man, but yeah, it was. So like I said, like alcohol is the only thing that's really like trailing. Like I don't really have an issue with anything else.
Send me those pictures of the waves, and that's going to be the icon for this on Spotify.
I'll do one better. I got a picture of when I was tripping balls, and one of those guys with the parrots come by and put them on your arms. I got that.
What was that experience like, though?
Oh, dude, it was. I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, why are fucking birds on my arms? And they put two parrots on my arms, and I'm like,
Was he
what
talking
the
to
hell's
you or
going
anything?
on?
Like Toucan Sam?
No, you know how when you go to Jamaica, they try to take pictures for money or whatever.
Yeah. Anything they can do.
So this guy just throws fucking parrots on me and asks for money, and I am just out of it. I don't know what's going on. But I'll send you those pictures.
But you're not a small guy either. Like, so this is maybe a little segue. How much can you bench press? I think everybody wants to know.
Dude, I'm older.
Dude, you're humble. Like, let's say at your peak.
I don't do right. If I had a bench press right now.
No, at your peak. At your peak.
At my peak, I never went over like 305. I don't go. When I started working out, I was already. What was it? When I got sober, it's like when I really hit it, and so. Like that became my obsession. I have a real addicting personality, so the gym became my obsession. I was doing Spartan races across the country and stuff, and doing the competitive ones, and it was just. But benching, mine was like deadlifts were fine. I was always doing more than 400, but I've only benched over 300 a couple times. Right now, like when I'm working out, like I have my bench press at my house. I stay with 220. I don't do anything more than that.
Well, they say reps.
I'm not Talon. Talon, when he's listening, he does crazy shit. I'm not going to pull my back or pull a muscle. That's how people my age get hurt.
Do you think Talon would come on? Would you talk to him?
So
I don't know, but his pictures are crazy.
But do me a favor. Put a little bird in his ear before Kegs asks you, the next question, please. I know Talon, actually, so maybe put a bird in his ear. Send him this link once it comes out.
We gotta get him on Discord first, because I think, I'm saying it out loud, but I don't know if he's allowed on Discord.
Really? Well, you know what? It's okay. I mean, that's okay. I'll try to get a hold of the account I have, too. No big deal. But Kegs was getting ready to say something. I'm sorry, buddy.
Part 2 at 7 p.m. You have to hear it.